Hello, this is gonna be a video kind of in the style of Sly and Cornflake's like analysis videos of their PBs. I figured I just got the sub 25. I think it's time. Uh, I think I have some insight that could, tips and tricks that could help people improve. And I figured those videos are really good, really helpful. So, you know, I'll try making one of my own. So I guess I'll get into it. I'll just skip ahead until actual stuff happens. Okay, well, I guess first, a disclaimer, because basically, there's some tricks in that I do in my runs that if you're a newer runner, um, I would not recommend. Stuff like Boko Shield or Cryo Wall Jump. Uh, they are tricks that save a pretty small amount of time and are, fairly difficult to get consistent. So, if you're watching this, I would recommend like doing, potlit because it's more consistent and like the 7 seconds that you save with Boko Shield is really not very important. It's kind of like, I guess another one of those is Cryo ESC versus normal clip. There are very good cues for normal clip, should be 100% consistent, right? Whereas ESC, it's like sometimes you don't clip through. I feel like if you're more consistent with ESC than normal clip, that just means you don't know the cues for normal clip well enough. But yeah, basically, I would not recommend just following like the world record route, doing all those tricks if you're just starting out, right? For instance, I only went for Boko Shield when I wanted a 13 plat. That's when I made the switch. Figured I wanted the time save. Yeah, like I needed the time save to get that. Um, but yeah, ultimately it's up to you what tricks you want to do. But, that's just my 2 cents. So, okay. Here I am, grabbing the Sheikah Slate. And, uh, in case you didn't know, you essentially you spam right stick, pull up the Sheikah Slate for the first time, and then to cancel that, and this is I guess the first animation cancel that we do in the run, is you press either like Y or R to pull out a weapon, or to attempt to pull out a weapon, which cancels the Sheikah Slate animation, and that lets you sprint right away. Okay, and here we are for SOR clip. What I found is, and this is true for I think most scope clips, basically Link's angle, right, which way he's pointing, is a lot more important than the angle that your camera is facing. So like these field of view lines, you can have them be like here and it would probably still work as long as Link's angle is correct. And this will be true for the scope clipping castle as well. Basically, Link's angle is a lot more important. And what I do on SOR clip is I make sure to not start spamming the right stick until I've positioned Link's like angle properly, and just taking that little bit of time to make sure you have it correct, and that it's like exactly where you want it. I tend to position it slightly right of this this cross on the mini map. Yeah, just taking that extra bit to ensure you have it correct before you start spamming scope makes it work better on average. You're gonna get faster clips most of the time. Technically I don't do a pre-turn for SOR, so I'm not like, it's not optimal, but I find with a lot of tricks and setups, getting it first try is always going to be fast, or is going to be faster than, rushing the setup. So yeah, basically I just make sure Link's not moving, that his ankle is properly set before I start spamming. Okay, now here you kind of just, there's this dark spot on the wall that I'm running towards. It's like right here. See, you kind of run up to that, and then you do the 2 climbs, and basically the further right you go with your whistle sprinting, I think the more stamina you'll get before you know, grab onto the wall again. So a good cue I use is this, like, dark spot going up the wall. If you're to the right of this, usually you'll be able to refill enough stamina after after your whistle sprinting, that you'll be able to do the 3 climbs. It'll be good. So right here, it fills up to about 3/4, and then whistle sprint again, and now I'm not quite full, but it's enough to do 3 jumps without losing all my stamina. Okay, so here I'm of course going for Boko Shield. Right there, my line is technically not optimal. I think you can cut a little bit more off of this like snow as you jump, but I like to take it a bit further left so that I never miss resetting the cold timer. So yeah, basically it's just, follow this line. It's pretty good. It's good enough. And yeah, Stasis, just a lot of lines and stamina management. Here I like to keep a quarter stamina as I'm grabbing the axe, which is a nice amount for, depleting all my stamina as I enter this
Link,
cutscene.
dirige-toi vers le lieu que t'indique la carte de la tablette Sheikah.
Okay, so coming up I'll be doing Gamer Boko Shield, which, Rosin has a video on if you want to watch that. I would say, let's see, Gamer Boko Shield, I'd say it's harder than the old Boko Shield method, but it does, I think, reduce the RNG involved. So, it's, I would say, more consistent but harder. Definitely. Relies a lot more on like your lines and making sure they're like really spot on, and like you need to whistle at the right time. You have to throw sprint as well. And I guess this is a good time to go over throw sprinting. The proper way to throw sprint is actually to first you press R and B at the same time, right? You do that for the first throw sprint input, and then you start holding whistle. Now holding whistle will make throw sprinting really consistent. You can just mash R and B and you'll always be consistently going at whistle sprinting speeds, right? Because before, like, if you don't hold whistle, it's actually pretty difficult to get a consistent throw sprint to go as fast as whistle sprinting. But if you're holding whistle, you won't make any noise and you'll regain stamina Uh, so throw sprinting is just as consistent as whistle sprinting. And what you want to do is to make sure you're not alerting like enemies is make sure you do that first throw and B input before you start holding whistle. Otherwise, Link will whistle first, which will alert the enemies, and then you start doing the throw sprinting, but you've already alerted them, so it doesn't matter. So basically, what I do is I make sure to begin and end with throw sprinting inputs, and so you start holding whistle after the first input of R and B, and then you release whistle before the last input of R and B. So yeah, basically I'm throw sprinting here until full stamina, and then I'm following this path of like rock, because when you're running on rock or not snow, you're gonna go faster than running on snow. So just make sure you're following this line. Okay, it's right here, right about here, and Rosin goes over this in his tutorial. Um, I'll probably link that below in the description or something. Um, this is where you start whistling. You want to jump onto like this white line, and by doing so, you should be able to get one climb up, and Link will like be able to run again. And you just run to the right, and Link will quick climb up. Here you make sure your camera is pointed away from the bokoblins so that they don't notice you as quickly. Because yeah, that's also an important thing. Basically, enemies act differently if your camera is pointed away from them. They tend to not notice you as well if you do that, and that'll come up later. But yeah, basically keep it away, uh, manage your stamina as you come to pick up the arrows, and make sure you're like on the side of the chest. I guess you could also just make sure you're not like behind it, because then you have to run around the chest and it makes it awkward. But here, it's really about the line you take and the timing of your Y press, if you can get Gamer Bogo Shield. Okay, so the line I like to take, and Rosin goes over it, but basically it's just like this loop where you go kind of, to the right of the Boko around this darker spot, and then you loop over, and as you're passing this Boko, you press Y. And if you do it at the right time, you should hit both bokoblins at the same time. You do the second swing and jump and mash A, and you should always be able to pick up the bow and then pick up the shield as well. Now, if you if you only attack this bokoblin, that means you swung too early. If you don't hit this bokoblin at all, it means you probably swung too late. Um, there's a lot that can go wrong, and this trick takes a, some getting used to, for sure. Uh, Definitely took a while before I could get this uh, swing timing correct. But once you get that down, it's pretty good. But yeah, spam A, grab the bow and the shield. Now sometimes you won't be able to grab this shield, and if that happens, like, you just walk over and grab it. Sometimes this Boko will pick it up immediately, but that's pretty rare. Okay, and then from here, basically reset cold, then shield jump, do your shield surf. Now for fast climb, basically what you want to do is jump around like the start of this dark line. You jump around here, and then as Link is about to uh, hit the ground with his shield, that's when you press B to dismount your shield, and that will give Link momentum moving forward, which is what allows you to get fast climb, since you'll do that like second step up when you jump on the wall. So you see I jump, yeah, around there, and then Link doesn't actually touch the ground with his shield, but I press B right before it, and I get this momentum. I jump, and boom, get fast climb. What I like to do here is actually, if you go too far this way, the 3 jumps up will not be enough to, put you at the top of the wall. So I will try to always jump on the same spot on the wall. And so if the momentum carries me too far this way, I will jump backwards to try and always make sure I'm like in the same spot on the wall. And so I'll always get fast climb if I'm climbing up here. It also makes snow skew easier maybe, because that way you're like starting in a consistent spot. And yeah, the next thing I'll be going over is my snow skew setup. So snow skew is where you get skew right around here on the mountain. It's good because the skew you get makes the clip really pretty lenient, and you can set up like the clip angle before you get to the shrine. So like it's really fast, really consistent. It also is snow skew, so it doesn't take durability, which is good for Boko Shield. If you're doing potlit, it doesn't really matter about durability, but is still a good skew for the clip. You can actually get this same skew, or at least like a skew that gives you a similar clip setup on the base of the shrine. But yeah, I won't be going over that because I don't do that in this video. But yeah, basically, like, it can also be kind of tight with timing with Boko Shield, trying to get snow skew, because you're going to be on like half a heart. So if you're a little bit slow on the shield surf or the climb up, it can be a bit scary. Most of the time you'll be fine though, as long as you reset cold timer and like it didn't mess up the shield surf, you should be fine. Okay, but basically for snow skew, what I found is that the angle you run at the skew spot is really important. Try to make it as straight as possible. Where I climb up, try to make it consistent. And here, where I'm aiming is, you see there's like, let's see, yeah, okay. So there's like these 2 snow patches, right? And then this like dark spot in between. I try to aim like upper part of this dark spot, right in between the 2. It's like right here. That's where I'm shield surfing. So yeah, you see I land like right there. And I think higher up is better. So you don't want to land like below. I feel like you'll be less likely to get skew if you land below. And you want to do an instant shield jump, because that makes it a lot easier to, consistently hit the same spot. And I feel like if you don't do an instant shield jump, it's, I don't know, less likely to get skew. But yeah. Now it's just stamina management, taking good lines. And here is where this is an important concept, you know, pre-turning your camera. Pretty self-explanatory, I guess. The name says it all. You just turn your camera like early while you're doing something else, and that makes, setups and stuff faster for later. Um, so here, what I do is, my cue is just whenever I refill stamina all the way right here, I start running and turning my camera, and I turn it to, set up my skew, like the angle for the skew clip with the field of view lines, which my cue is, you can't see it because the quality is so bad, because I'm full screen, and this recording, like, yeah, basically you won't be able to see it, but there's the like little cross on the mini map. You just put the field of view line, the left one, slightly to the left of it. The angle is not super strict though, so just it should be fine. But yeah, basically I set up my angle as I'm running towards the spot so that it's faster when I'm trying to clip in. So yeah, basically here, throw aim, and once you throw aim, it's already set up, so you just need to make sure Link's in the right spot to get the clip. What I like to do is make sure I'm on the right of this like dark spot. I found that this clip, it's kind of like you want to be further right than normal for like maybe the bean skew clip spot. You kind of want to be further right, and then you move in like kind of left as you do the shield jump, and it should just clip you in. Yeah, see, I like move to the right, almost like right here is where Link's head is, and then I'm moving left as I'm doing the shield jump. You should clip in. If you're too far right, it'll look obvious, like you just won't be like shield jumping kind of in the right spot. It'll be way too far right, and you'll be able to see that. If you're too far left, it just won't clip in. And if you miss the clip, it's kind of hard to back it up with the skew. What I usually do is an ESC if I don't get it first try. I just feel like setting up the angle again is hard to do fast. It just won't work. But you can ESC in with the same skew, so that's totally fine. Okay, so entering the shrine, there's the immediate run at the start right here. So what you want to do is, of course, skip the cutscene immediately, and you're holding ZL and the direction towards the pedestal, like the rune pedestal. So you're holding ZL in that direction, and you're spamming X to skip. And then when you feel the rumble from the controller, that's when you let go of ZL and start like holding B for sprinting. And you can see, Link starts running immediately. Saves like frames, but might as well do it, right? Okay, boring cutscene. Okay, skip too far. Okay, this is just Stasis, Oh, I guess not right here. So I do a throw cancel here, and this is a common thing for runes. Basically, you do the Stasis here, Stasis it, and then right after that, Link will do his like using the Sheikah Slate animation, and to cancel that, you just pull out a weapon. I like to use R for throwing, and that'll pull out the axe. So you'll actually see me, pull out the axe and then sprint again. So canceling that animation lets you sprint immediately after using a rune. Again, it's a really small time save, but it's something that's pretty easy and definitely feels fast. So yeah, see I do that. And now here, what I do, and not all runners do this, is I just unstasis it at the point where when I jump, I will clear the platform, and jumping also cancels the rune animation. So I don't know, that's what I do. And then you want to basically wait until stasis is, of course, recharged, and then you're just like aiming in between these kind of fence posts, whatever you call them. And then animation cancel. Now it's just lines. You want the lines to be as direct as possible. And then, you know, there's that boulder jump, like boulder skip or whatever. Just make sure you're kind of jumping pretty late. And then it should be, as long as you're like jumping, you know, not super far to the right, you should be able to make it pretty easily. Okay. Now, skip all of this. Let's see. Okay, so for cryo, I will be scanning my fish right here. And okay. The reason we scan on plateau now instead of in castle is because it moves the RNG for fish early in the run. So if you get really terrible fish, you can reset in cryo instead of in castle. And in this game, the first half is like so hard. So much harder than the second half, at least in my opinion. I think getting a good plateau is a lot harder than getting like a good Castle Blights Calamity. Because like you have to hit every BTB, and there's just so many things that can go wrong with BTBs, and you can lose so much time. Whereas like Castle doesn't have too many uh, spots that are like difficult. Well, I guess they're difficult, but they're not as precise as BTBs. Also, there's like unloaded mag, you know, some inconsistent stuff on plateau. So yeah, you scan it early, so if you don't get good RNG, you can reset. It also gives you food for the rest of the run, so if you need to do a backup, scanning here is good. It gives you just so much food, like you can pick up extra food, and then you'll be totally fine for like missing a wind bomb or something, or taking damage from, I don't know, box walk or something. So yeah, that's why we scan early. And so here, it's actually pretty important picking up fish. Well, I got really good RNG on this run, of course. Yeah, picking up fish is pretty, like it's definitely a skill you need, because picking up the wrong fish is like a two, you know, every extra text box you get is like a 2.5 second text box. Right, so that's losing 2.5 seconds, which isn't that much, but you know, you can also pick up the chest sometimes if you're not careful, and sometimes the fish are like stuck under the chest, and that is an awful position for the fish to be in, because it's really easy to pick up those chests, and those lose you like at least 5 seconds, because you have to open the chest and then get the new text box for whatever item you get. But yeah, basically you want to make sure you're picking up only the fish you want to pick up, and as long as you don't like lose 2.5 seconds, it's gonna be, you know, more worth it to take your time to pick up the fish than to, try to press A quickly. Okay, so I guess right here I'll talk about, what meals you can cook and what fish you're looking for. And basically, the way cooking works is you need 7 points of attack up to cook a level 3 attack up meal. And porgies give 3 points of attack up. Mighty porgies, and then mighty carp give 2 attack up points, which means with the static razor shroom spawn in castle, the minimum fish you need are 1 porgy and 1 carp, because that gives you 5, and a shroom is 2, so 5 plus 2 is 7. Or you need 3 carps, which gives you 6, and then the razor shroom bumps it up to 8. So that's the minimum you need. But if you get extra, pick it up, because then you can skip the razor shroom later, which will save you a text box. But yeah, basically you pick up, porgies and carps enough to get the attack up points, and then also Hyrule Bass if you need fillers to cook with, and also eat for health. And what I would do for these runs is basically think about, what's the minimum fish you need. And this is definitely something you don't need to do. You just pick up extra fish if you're not going for like really, really insane times. Because like, I don't know. I definitely got to the point where I was trying to minimize the RNG factor. So if you can pick up the least number of fish and have it still work, then that's going to let you continue more runs. At least, for me, that's what I was thinking. So for me, it was at minimum, you need to pick up enough fish to cook with 5 ingredients. So if I got a porgy and a carp, then I would pick up the razor shroom in castle, and I have 3, but I wanted to cook with 2 more fillers so that I have enough time on my meal to eat it early. So I would have to pick up 2 bass as well, if I only got a porgy and a carp. And you kind of do that calculation or whatever, and you figure out what are the actual workable combinations of fish. But yeah, for the most part, just pick up the attack up ones and then a couple extra Hyrule Bass. And if you want more fish, you can always grab more. It helps with backups. Oh, actually, okay, good thing this happened. So in my PV, I get 3 porgies, which is enough to skip the razor shroom. Right. Wait, let's see. I think I got 3 porgies and 2 bass. And what I did here was, there's the carp. I could pick up that carp, but I have enough porgies to make my level 3 attack up potion. So picking up the carp is an extra text box. That's 2.5 seconds that I would lose. And since I need 5 to cook with, I can, instead of picking up that carp, pick up the 2 Hyrule Bass on the ground. Gives me enough time. Just, these small optimizations that I do. And this shows it nicely. By knowing the combinations of fish that work, you can save yourself some time. Okay, so here is Boulder Ride. Basically, you do the 4 hits, and then I pre-aim the camera up for when I cancel the spin. I'm now ready to just shoot the arrow. What I like to do, and I think I saw Cornflake doing this, and I think maybe the first person I saw doing it was like Michikusa. I remember seeing like his boulder ride was really clean. But yeah, basically, if you aim, like you can aim it super high, which works, and I think I aimed it too high in my PB. But if you aim it lower, you get a nice, like a faster um, boulder because you don't go as high, which kind of wastes time as you're going through the air more. But yeah, you want to, where you shoot the rock determines how the arrow is gonna like bounce off. So make sure you're like shooting it in a consistent spot so that you can just run backwards and the arrow will always like bounce off so that you can grab it again. Because arrow count is like there's no arrow RNG because if you grab this arrow, then you should be set for the rest of the run. So yeah, it's pretty important that you grab it, but you know, if you don't, it's fine. Okay, okay. See, like a nice, pretty low angle. I probably could have done it a little bit lower, but at that point you're like risking uh, losing time just, you know, hitting the wall early or something. But yeah, basically you want to pick up that arrow. You know, I jump off, and here I actually mess up the shield surf, but I usually try to um, jump and shield surf kind of like over here, and then that usually will take me like on a path around like this. Here I actually go like I veer to the right, um, but normally if you're doing it far enough left, you're holding in the right direction, you'll like go around here, and then you want to just do two jumps so that you carry the momentum all the way up to like the skew spot. Uh, but yeah, here it doesn't quite work. I have to do 2 climbs up. Okay, and now I'll be doing, this is the setup where you do a backflip for Cryo BTB, where it's basically Rosin made a setup that gave a slightly better angle towards the shrine, but you spent a lot more time in bullet time. So my cues for this BTB are basically I use Rosin's cues, and then I do a backflip swing before I do the jump, shield jump, and you want to delay the shield jump a little bit after you do the first jump, so that you actually hit the boko on the back instead of like kind of the front. Let's see, should I go over these? I guess I will. Basically, you want to put Link's kind of foot around here. Let's see. So that you can actually aim with the normal cryo BTB setup. There's like the dark spot here, and that's where you wanted to shoot. Now you actually want to have the top like crosshair line up with that dark spot. So you shoot wherever that is, that the top crosshair lines up there, and then now you quickly aim. And where I like to aim is like right here. There's like this dark spot. I think it's pretty similar to where you aim normally. So you just make sure you do that pretty quick. See, I aimed like right there. Textbook. That was nice. Okay, but then now you immediately cancel that, and as this bokoblin starts moving, that's when you do the backflip swing. And you want to, wait until the boko is, fairly close to where the arrow shot is before you jump and shield jump. And these bokoblins can actually be like at different distances apart, depending on how quickly this boko notices the arrow. Which is annoying because it kind of changes how the jump timing works. I feel like if they're closer together, you want to jump later. Might just be placebo, but I feel like it does kind of change how it works with the jump timing. I don't really have a cue for it. I just jump when the boko gets pretty far. And basically, for this cryo BTB, you jump and then shield jump after a little bit of a delay. And the more you delay it, the higher up you will be when you enter bullet time. So if you jump and then shield jump like really soon after, you will want to enter bullet time super like super late, kind of like above the boko's back, and that's optimal. So ideally you want to delay the shield jump like a very tiny amount so that you can enter bullet time as late as possible above the boko's back. Otherwise you'll waste time in bullet time. And that's the whole point of the backflip swing, is that it minimizes bullet time, waiting in bullet time. Here I did a decent, or like actually it wasn't that good. I think a really good one is where you're hitting the boko's back with like over 3/4 stamina. Um, but that's kind of risky. Also, this BTB setup is definitely harder than the old one, I would say, because the bullet time exit is like super precise. If you don't exit bullet time immediately, you won't get enough height to do the FTC later. So like that's pretty hard to do. You can do a bow and equip, and that might make it like easier to get that um, bullet time exit as soon as possible. But then you'll have to re-equip the bow later. So optimally, you want to Y press it anyway. And it's also harder because you have to do the aim really quickly. Let's see. Okay, so here you want to do that aim really quickly so you have enough time to do the backflip swing. So yeah, basically this only saves a couple seconds over the other method, so would not recommend it. Like, you certainly don't have to do it to get good times. And here I actually got a little bit of a turn, which is bad. Um, like, it wasn't enough of a turn to mess it up, but for this setup, you actually don't want the turn at all. Okay, so here I like to cycle axe. Uh, Basically, I do the unequip whenever, sometime before, but then there's like this cross in the middle. I think it's like the second one you pass, but that's when I re-equip. It's like slightly after this, after you pass that. And then, okay, so here's something that's important. For BTBs, the direction that you face Link when you dismount the shield for the BTB is the direction Link will fall towards. It's pretty slight, but the direction you're facing link will fall slightly in that direction. So you always want to face link to wherever you want to fall. So in this case, I got a little bit of a turn, so I'm actually going to be farther left than usual, which is why I face link to the right, so that I'll fall like hopefully right on the spot. And you know, it was really good angle. Here for ESC, here's my cue. Basically, this is what I do. I get skew kind of in the middle of the snow patch, and I throw aim and line it up with, there's this like line on the shrine right here. It's kind of like the bottom bar of the shrine door. The shrine door has like these little lines that are, it's kind of like where they connect the like different sections of the door, but there's this line in the middle of the bottom. That's where I throw aim. It helps me keep my angle with the shrine door consistent, which I think the angle is pretty important for ESC. I think that's the reason the or you know, that can be a reason that it fails, is if your angle's not quite right. It can also be like if your skew is not strong enough or weak enough. But yeah, you don't need to unequip shield for an ESC, and this will clear your skew, and it won't take durability, which is kind of cool. But yeah. Let's see, is there anything else that... No. Okay. Let's see. Okay, here we are with wall jump. Okay, this will be interesting. What do I want to say about wall jump? Okay, wall jump is a trick where, you know, you have to do a lot of inputs really fast, and it's a lot of inputs with the D-pad. It's pretty annoying. Oh, please? Wait, no. Stop it. 720. I want 1080. Okay. But basically, what I do is I turn link to the left. You know, to get ready. And then you want to throw aim. And this angle doesn't have to be like super precise. You kind of just have to adapt to like how you're approaching the wall. But yeah, you basically want to make sure you're not too far left, otherwise you'll get caught like under this top part of the gate, or no, the fence. And if you're too far right or not angled enough, you'll just like, you know, not, you'll be like to the right of the wall, or like, yeah, it just won't work. I'd recommend watching Sly's tutorial if you want a tutorial on how to do the wall jump. Because, yeah, I feel like it's too much to explain here. But, okay, so the cryo skip now, which is actually pretty tricky. I feel like it's harder doing it here, or at least it feels like it's harder doing it on this side. But basically, you don't want to shield jump too early. Like, if you do the shield jump too soon, it'll actually mess up, because there's a mechanic in the game where if you shield jump and then shield jump again like immediately after, it'll shorten your shield jump, so you won't get as much momentum forward, which makes it so that the cryo skip will fail, because you will like get pushed straight up instead of forward and up. And so if you like set the cryo immediately and did a shield jump, it would not work because of that. So you want to like walk a bit, make sure to space it out correctly, and then it's just a cryo skip. Okay, so that's cryo. Okay, for mag, you can do slate storage here. The difference between slate storage and an FTC is like they're basically the same in terms of timing. One's not faster than the other. I won't go over my mag cues. I just use the ones Limcube taught, I think. I'm pretty sure I haven't like morphed it at all. So for this BTB, I actually like to aim my camera up. I feel like it reduces loads, but that could just be placebo. You know, I do feel like it reduces world loads a bit. And then I just look at the mini-map, like lines, to tell me when to, you know, get ready for the fall damage cancel, which my cue is, so I'm looking straight up, and then here. So I see on the left side of the mini-map, you see the edge of plateau appear. And this tells you that you're getting close to the shrine. So this is where I ZL to like pull the camera down, and then I try to press B around when Link is like right at like kind of crossing this, or we'll be like in a straight line with this this cross in the mini map. And at that point you're like spamming B because you can get world loads that make you fall too far. But yeah, FTC, and here I get unloaded. But okay, so mag is actually not the most interesting shrine out there. Right here, you run, you pick it up. I make sure to fall so that like I kind of go into it at an angle, right in the corner, and I do that just so that I have like no chance of falling into the water down below. So as long as you're not going like this way, you shouldn't fall in the water. But yeah. The rest of mag, I guess I'll just watch it through. But yeah, mag's pretty simple. Reason I don't go for box walk in mag is actually because it's pretty easy to lose an arrow. Like when you're aiming the box, the way the arrow bounces off makes it hard to pick up, and it barely saves time anyway. So I don't think it's worth it. Oh, okay, so let's see, something else I wanted to point out is here, this shield jump. So for Boko Shield durability, if you do snow skew and you don't mess anything else up, or like snow skew for, yeah, cryo and stasis, and you get unloaded, you don't need to unequip shield or do a durability save here. Same thing with pot lid, is like you don't need to do a durability save here because you have enough durability that it doesn't really matter. And by doing that, I mean, you could unequip to save skew, which actually works well for BLSS to bombs. If you want to do that, you keep the mag skew and then it makes bombs slightly faster. So you would want to unequip before skew, or to keep skew here. But if you are doing the BTB, I recommend clearing skew, which if you're going to do a durability save, like if you're Boko Shield and you got loaded mag, I would recommend doing a durability save right here instead of like just unequipping and then re-equipping later when you're running, because you get that little momentum from dismounting the shield. You'll see it. Yes, like it's a little bit of momentum, not much, but it's nice. And yeah, if you don't unequip there with like pot lid, you're saving a little time on menuing. Okay. Now, for bombs, let's see, we have, it'll be box walk, and then, okay. So for box walk, you jump here, you stasis the thing, and then you stasis the box, and then I am pre-turning my camera again. I'm putting it up. I do 4 hits, and my cue is like I line up Link, kind of. Let's see. Like, there's this line on the box. You'll see it where I aim. See, there's this. I aim right here in the corner. And I try to have Link, lined up in the same spot every time so that this angle sends me to the tower thing at the BotW camp. I used to aim high, like a lot higher, but I feel like the lower angle saves time and makes it more consistent. It's something I forget who I saw doing it, but I was like, wait, I always aim that a lot higher. And I started aiming it lower, and I like it better. But yeah, that's where I aim. Shoot. And then for standing on the box, you want to stand like pretty far. Man, the quality on this video. I think it's because I'm full screen, but the quality on this video is really bad. But yeah, you want to stand like kind of this half of the box, but like close to the edge, not too far, because if you stand like right on the edge, you're gonna slip off. It's something you have to get the feel for. And then you unstasis and just walk back. I like to avoid walking on the corners of the box because that can make it pretty weird. And I feel like it like messes up my walking speed. But I adjust that. Okay. But I whistle there. I don't think it really matters. I whistle as I'm jumping off the box. I think it looks cool. Okay, this part, I actually got trolled a little bit by the BotW. And with Bokoblin manipulation, what you want is for this, like the second Bokoblin who always throws the barrel, you actually want him to throw the barrel. Or at least like move over to this side. Because if that BotW doesn't move over here, there's a chance that this Bokoblin will do what he did. And like kind of dance at you. And throw a rock, potentially. Luckily, I did not get the rock throw. That would have been really unfortunate. And I was kind of lucky that he didn't do that, in a sense. But yeah, basically you want this guy on to like move over to the barrel, because then this Bokoblin will always run at you. That's just how the manipulation, like, that's how their behavior works for some reason. You gotta watch out for this archer. And okay, so here I actually didn't really try to force the low angle because I saw it was ahead. But what you can do is just delay the bullet time entry a little bit, and you'll land lower on the back, get a lower angle, which is faster. But here, my axe unequip is somewhere before this spot off, like where Link crosses, like kind of off of plateau. And this is kind of how you can tell if you got a good angle or not. It's if Link's arrow is like half on plateau, half off plateau as you're passing this spot. And if you got high angle and Link's arrow is in that spot, then you got a good angle and you should be able to land in the box, like in the shrine area. But yeah, basically I re-equip axe slightly after Link passes over that spot where you like are off of plateau for a little bit. Okay, here is also where angling Link in the proper direction is important, because if you angled Link to the left, you will not land in this box area. You will land down here and you'll have to climb up. So yeah, make sure you're facing Link the right direction when exiting a BTB. Okay, for this one, I just get skew on the bean. Then I think I do Limb Cubes Qs. I just do it really fast. Is there anything I wanted to talk about? Yeah, no, okay, that's fine. Yeah, this is just the Limb Cube setup Qs, I think. Okay, so here, I do Gamer Wind Bomb, but basically, if you're doing normal Wind Bomb, what I do is I like to clear skew for Castle BTB. If you clear skew, it actually gives you a lower angle, um, which is faster on average. You know, it's been timed. I forget how much faster on average it was, but it was slightly faster to do the BTB without skew, because yeah, the angle you get is lower, so you have more horizontal speed. So yeah, I like to clear skew, but I do Gamer Wind Bomb, so I do the shield jump. Wait, no. Yeah, so I do the shield jump, like right here. I will run back, jump, shield jump, and I jump, delay the shield jump so that I have enough height that I can unequip shield after this. See, Link's actually in the skew animation, and if you unequip after that, that's how you clear skew. And so I'm both doing my ragdoll quick fix and clearing skew at the same time. You can actually do this very easily if you're not doing Gamer Wind Bomb. As you enter the shrine, basically right here, you will want to jump and shield jump over to like right around here, which is where you're doing the Wind Bomb from. You want to jump, shield jump there, unequip after the skew frame, and then go grab the rune. And yeah, I delay the shield jump so that I have enough height that I can unequip while still in the air, right, without landing on the shield. Okay. So what I do to actually get on this peg, because it can be really annoying, is I throw aim and I make sure I'm like, I have Link kind of perpendicular to this peg. Kind of, I step up on the left side of it, because if you step up too far to the right, you're gonna fall off. But if you're like kind of the left half of it, and your throw aim is perpendicular to it, you're gonna climb up it pretty easy. Okay, so the discussion of Gamer Win Bomb basically saves, I don't know, it was like 5 or something seconds if you get it. Like it saves 5 seconds over the normal Win Bomb with a quick setup. Loses roughly 2 or 3, to the normal wind bomb if you have a quick setup. So, risk reward. It's actually not too bad if you miss it, as long as you make it over the wall. Um, but yeah, getting this setup part fast is kind of key. So right here, I throw aim. You see oh, you see this crack thing? I throw aim so that the reticles are like lined up with that middle part of the crack. And then I do an axe swing to buffer my jump because I don't like jumping on the peg or jumping off the peg without that. I feel like I'm inconsistent with that. And I like to place circle early, not like really super early because then it'll roll off the peg, but place it pretty early and then delay bullet time entry, but very slightly. Um, it's a very slight thing though, so it can be tricky. I think that's the hard part of Gamer Win Bomb is the delayed bullet time entry. Because what placing it or placing the circle early is pretty doable consistently, and then you enter bullet time slightly delayed, and you can actually kind of hear it if you're listening for it. Uh, Actually, couldn't really hear it there. This one I think I almost missed it, but basically I place square a little bit under quarter stamina usage, and then I kind of do the turn. You don't want to turn too much or else you'll dead angle. And if you don't turn enough, you will get a really weird, super bad angle that like doesn't send you very far over this. So yeah, practicing this turn, like it's, I don't know, just turn to where I turn, I guess, in this. And then you want to detonate. It's like, see, slightly under half. And yeah, I like barely landed on the right spot on this wind bomb. But okay, I'll just watch it one more time fast. Oh yeah, though that was definitely close to not working. Okay, I guess one more thing is, you see how I don't have shield equipped here? That's actually on purpose. And I guess I didn't say this before, but the reason I just explained where I cycle axe on BTBs, but the reason I do it is to like get rid of a load that always happens when you BTB. There's like a world load, and if you do the axe cycle, it will, because the game still loads while you're in menus, it'll get rid of that load that happens in the middle of your BTB. So that's why I do it. So here, I actually leave my shield unequipped on purpose because there's a load I want to get rid of when I'm doing tree launch. And I do that by equipping shield. Okay, so here I am talking to the old man. Okay, this wind bomb, I jump left. My cues for this, oh, the quality's so bad. Oh, that's fine. My cue for this is like, I throw aim, kind of, you see this patch of like leaves, the ivy? You kind of have your top reticle is somewhere in the middle of this and this. It kind of, right here, aligns up with this line of ivy. And then early circle, you know, a normal square placement, and then I turn kind of, my goal is to turn like right here is where I normally aim, but here I actually didn't quite turn it as much as usual, and it worked. And then, yeah, detonate like a little under half stamina. Well, this one I actually want my angle to be lower. So if I had turned more, I think my angle would have been lower. But because I bounced so far, it actually helped. Okay, for ragdolling here, if you hold the left stick while you're ragdolling, you will get up. If you don't hold the stick or move the left stick at all, you will keep ragdolling. So that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, actually for here, this is the first time you do like 3 menus, or like a triple menu. You go from circle bomb to stasis, and so the way I do it fast is I use the right stick first to menu from circle to square, and then I use R and ZR to do the other 2 menus. So it's like you have to time it right, but like you do right stick R ZR, and you can menu this really fast. Okay. Tree launch. I like to turn my camera beforehand so that I do the spins, and then I'm just like, I can just point my arrow in the middle of the tree, and I've already turned the camera so that that's the right angle to send the tree at. Yeah, so I just go here, shoot at the middle. And how I jump on the tree, you know, some people actually jump or like climb up run up the tree, and then it's like you run up it and then let go, or like reset stick to neutral, and then kind of move stick back forward, or no. Okay, so you run up the tree, you let go, and then you hold forward again, and Link will grab onto the tree. And that's pretty consistent. It's actually a good way of doing it. I just always do it jumping on the right side. And I kind of jump at it like at an angle. You see I'm kind of jumping towards the right side of the tree actually. If you jump too far left, Link will run up it. So you want to jump kind of right of the middle of the tree, and then Link will grab on. Now here, I wait super long, like until Link's like at the tower, or Temple of Time, basically, and then I equip shield, and that should get rid of the load that always happens here. And then here, I also menu to bombs, and the reason I menu here is because it might help with the cutscene load here, because we're, you know, in menu slightly longer, and that's a menu you have to do. So it'll actually potentially help with how long this load takes when you enter the cutscene for the paraglider. Okay, boring cutscene. Gives you the paraglider. Okay, this is Castle BTB. I use Limcube setup still. And my recommendation on this is that you take your time. Take your time with the setup, because if you don't, you might mess something up, and like anything slightly wrong with the setup for it is like it can mess it up pretty badly. Uh, okay, but basically, take your time with the setup so that you get it right. Um, because it really sucks when you mess up the positioning of Link. Like, you get Castle BTB, like, the right frame, and then it's just that you messed up the positioning because you rushed it or something. Let's see. Okay, so, this trick is like a big run killer because it's frame perfect. And, when you're on pace, it's really hard to get that timing. Um, but it's actually not as bad as it's not as bad as it used to be. We now have 2 backups for it. I feel like if you practice it enough, you should always be able to enter bullet time like either it's one of 3 things. It's either a frame early, the perfect frame, or a frame late. And now we have backups for both a frame early and a frame late. So it's actually not too bad. Um, Basically, if you enter bullet time a frame early, you want to pump glider. And if you pump glider enough, you should be able to make it to at least the moat surrounding castle, where you do 1 wind bomb. It'll be a cardinal wind bomb. Uh, and you lose maybe 10 seconds to, perfect BTB. But losing only 10 seconds, that's almost nothing. Um, and you actually have a chance to make it all the way if you pump well enough and like have the right angle on the BTB. You can make it by or while still like pulling bullet or entering bullet time a frame early. It's pretty rare though. I haven't gotten it consistent. But yeah, basically that's pretty easy. If you have extra fish, then you're totally fine. If you enter bullet time a frame late, you want to, pause and then unpause and then spam jump because you're actually going to be able to bounce off the ground, jump, and pull glider. And once you've done that, you can actually just set up a BLSS and just BLSS to castle. Of course, you do need to practice BLSS to make sure you're able to get it and like go somewhat fast towards castle. But yeah, if you practice that, it's better than taking a reload for the most part because that's a guaranteed 20 seconds. I think it's a guaranteed 25-second time loss to try it again, and you aren't guaranteed to hit the BTB. So, doing a backup like that is very good. But here I hit it first try, and basically this BTB, I just hold north. Um, you kind of make your way through Hyrule Field, kind of through the middle of these 2 patches of trees. Yeah, not much happening. I'm just basically holding north. I unequip there my shield so that when I get to like here, I can just drop down without having to dismount shield right here. And if you hit this wall with your shield, it can actually break if it's low durability. So I just unequip it early. Also, when I equip it later on, that will potentially help force a load. Okay, so here I run in, the gate's unloaded, I run in, and I immediately jump, throw axe, and here I just memorized this distance that you run down the stairs um, to jump through the opening. There's no good visual cue because everything is unloaded. You just have to know the distance. It's better to jump later than earlier, because if you jump early, you will climb up the like wall thing. Whereas if you jump later, you will actually climb up the fence, or like the railing. I guess it's not a fence. But yeah, you climb up the railing and then you just immediately jump again. Like if you're just mashing jump, you will climb up the railing and then jump, and that works as well. So you want to like run further than you think. But here I keep the camera away from the Lizalfos, and I actually have DLC installed, so it works perfectly fine. I almost never have problems with these Lizalfos, even though I have the DLC installed, so like there's a chest that spawns here that alerts or like startles the Lizalfos. You just need to make sure the camera is turned away as you're gliding to the moblin, because as I said before, um, enemies tend to not notice you if they are not on screen. So you do that, you glide down. I shield cycle a few times to try to help the claymore load. Grab it. I make sure to, position myself close enough to the claymore to grab it immediately, so that I can, once it loads, I can immediately start creeping up on this moblin. And what I do is I go for the early sneak strike here. So right here, get the prompt, just go for the sneak strike. This is risky and saves a couple seconds maybe, at most. So like, if you're not confident in this, don't go for it. There are backups for it though, so if you do want to go for it, if the cutscene happens as you're sneak striking the moblin, you should, after the cutscene loads, immediately run and jump drop a bomb, and you should be on square bomb. So you run, jump drop a bomb, the moblin will turn around and start kicking the bomb and will not actually notice you. So, it's actually not too unsafe to do it, but you will lose time. Um, a little bit of time over not messing it up, or just like waiting for the sneak strike. And here, while I'm still down here, I like to throw sprint, so that I don't alert the Lizalfos anymore. And here, you can get the razor shroom from this box. If you remember you have good fish, then don't get it, because it takes a durability to break the box on this claymore. If you have to break that box, you might want to remember that, so that later in the Blights, you can take that into account. And you might want to save a durability in Thunderblight if you miss a couple hits or something. Or no, if you take a couple extra hits on this claymore, because you don't want that breaking early. There are backups for it, so it's not a big deal, but just in case. Now here, I'm doing proper throw sprinting, and then that's all good. Right here, you can actually check So in that box, there's a chance for arrows, and you can check here if you forgot how many arrows you had. You just look at Link's quiver, and the number of arrows you have is actually accurate. So right here I can see I have 2, which is all I need, so I don't have to look for an extra arrow from the crate. Okay, for this Lizalfos, I like to run out of this like doorway and then start whistle sprinting really early. By doing this, I alert the Lizalfos so that he starts coming over like super early, and then I start sprinting up all the way. Make sure I'm below this line so that the Lizalfos can't see me. Throw the square bomb into the corner, and then immediately run, because I alerted the Lizalfos early so that as I throw it, the Lizalfos will start running towards the bomb, and I am now free to run behind the Lizalfos and get the sneak strike. I think it's like once the Lizalfos kicks the bomb, like if you alerted the Lizalfos early enough, you should always get an immediate sneak strike prompt. Whereas if you alerted the Lizalfos later, the prompt might not show up immediately, and you'd need to wait a little bit before doing the sneak strike. Okay. Let's see. Okay, here's where I cook. And basically, the way I do it is I always cook with 5 ingredients, and this will give you minimum of 330 attack up and a maximum of 410 attack up time. For out of bounds, as long as you didn't take extra damage in Paraglider from the wind bomb, you actually have enough hearts to clip through, do the midair, and that will bring you down to 1 heart. You eat your attack up food before the second wind bomb out of bounds, and 330 is still enough to do the rest of the movement in castle, get to Blights, and like get through Blights and Calamity. It'll be really tight, but it's technically enough time. Wouldn't really recommend going for that. Like, just grab an extra fish and then you can eat a fish before you do the second wind bomb or something. But that's what I do. Basically, I cook 5 and then eat it before the wind bomb, like the second out of bounds wind bomb. Okay, so here I pre-turn the camera, kind of, so I'm running like this way with the camera like facing the other direction, because that's actually where I want the camera to be for the scope clip. I guess there's a couple different clip spots. There's, I think, rosin clips right here. I saw Buna was clipping right here, and I think Sketo also started clipping around, like, or on this side. Basically, for each of these, you need a different visual cue, and I like the like the side. I don't like this side of the wall or the hallway. I feel like the visual cues I'm just not as good at. But I think technically this side is a little bit faster. Um, but this is one of those cases where I prefer to have, consistency over speed. Because, like, yeah, I could save like a second by clipping out right here. But I couldn't get that clip, like the visual cue for it really consistently. And yeah, the midair setup I have is really consistent for me. So I'll just, I stick with what works. Okay, and again, here My cues, I actually use slightly different cues than everyone else, like slightly. But again, for scope clips, I said this at the beginning. What matters is Link's angle, the uh, the camera angle, right? It needs to be, it can't be like super wrong, but it's pretty lenient. So what people normally do, actually, this is kind of funny. This is, I think, the exact um, visual cue for most people is they line up the 0 with the gate right there. Like you put the gate inside of the 0, and that's the normal like cue for it, the lineup. But I don't do that. I actually messed this up. Okay, I'll just go over my cues first. But I line up like this. I just put the time kind of right below this gate. And then for Link's angle, there's like the center of his hair. Oh, you're probably not gonna get to see it, but like the center of his hair, you line it up with this line on the wall. Because I think I went too fast, probably. Yeah. Actually, you might be able to. Yeah, right there. Okay, right here. It's like this center part of it is aligned. Um, okay, but basically, I missed this clip first try, right? I don't think I set Link's angle correctly, and it lost me 2.7 seconds. I actually went back and timed it. So, set it up correctly, get it first try, and you won't lose time like I did. Oh, that was sad. One of the few, like, visible mistakes in the run. Or, like, really easy to spot mistakes in the run. Let's see. Okay, so here for the midair, what I do is I clip out, and now I glide along this. It's like parallel to this, you see the floor? I glide parallel to this for a while. I'm like, and then I drop throw aim, and where I'm throw aiming is like slightly to the right of this, which is where you want to land. So you aim like, you throw aim like slightly to the right, and I wait for Link to stop momentum, and then I place circle, move Link slightly to the right, and of course this just makes sure the bomb placement is properly aligned so that Link gets hit. And actually you can see like Link gets hit by kind of the flat part here, which sends Link, you know, over to the correct spot. And then for this cue, there's a spot on the ground I like to stand on, but it's not super precise. There's like a rock you can see, although you might not be able to see it here. I think it's like this rock. Yeah, yeah, you can see it. This rock. I stand there, and then I throw aim. Oh, that was actually really quick. Throw aim here, right? Reticle aligned with this, like, pillar, the left side. Uh, and here, that's where I eat the 330 attack up. And I eat it right before the wind bomb, because 330 is very narrowly enough to make it through the rest of the run. If you get a 350, you can eat it early, and it's totally fine. 330 is where I get a little bit scared. so I eat it as late as possible. Um, but here, it's just a normal wind bomb, but, well, this one's actually really scary because it's easy to mess up. I actually think this one is harder than the midair because it can just go so poorly. Like you could not get enough height um, and not land up here, or the bomb. If you place the circle too early, it'll roll down the slope, which messes up the wind bomb. You won't get enough height. You'll like get a super low launch. So that's really bad because that basically just is a reset. Um, so actually, what I like to do for this wind bomb is I delay the square placement a little bit. I think that helps getting a little bit more height. Um, but yeah, switch to square there. Uncrouch. So here, or yeah, uncrouch. Jump out. Run in to the left side uh, of this doorway. You see, it's unloaded, but there's gonna be doors, like a door here, door here, but you want to be like left side of this doorway. You'll just, with enough practice, you get used to where that is. You run through it. You can actually run into the room a bit, and it's better to do that because then you can just face towards the middle and then throw it because the chair is gonna load in, and basically you're trying to throw the bomb in front of the chair so that when the moblin spawns in or like loads in, it will kick the bomb into the chair and the bomb won't move, which makes, sneak striking the moblin super easy because the moblin won't just like randomly turn around if it's kicked the bomb too far away. Um, so yeah, you go slightly into the room, face the middle, throw the bomb. I unequip bow there, and it's a good time to do that because you're waiting for stuff to load in, and by unequipping your bow, when you pick up the Royal Guards bow in a bit, it will be automatically equipped. And so you wait for the moblin to load in, and if you've done this quick enough, the bomb should already be in place when the moblin is loading in. This means you can immediately run in and get the sneak strike. If you see the question mark appear as the moblin is running over to the bomb, you will have to wait for the moblin to kick the bomb first before you get a sneak strike prompt. This can happen if if the bomb is rolling still, like moving on the ground as the moblin loads in, which is somewhat annoying. And if you didn't throw the bomb in the right spot, it can actually mess it up because the moblin will like kick the bomb too far away and then will turn around and notice you. But yeah, if you throw it right in front of the chair, that shouldn't be a problem. You'll just have to wait a little bit for the sneak strike prompt to appear. But yeah, you run in, sneak strike, unequip that claymore, and doing that will automatically equip the edge of duality when you pick it up, which is a small optimization because you don't have to menu like 3 or 4 over to get to the edge of duality. Grab it. Oh, I guess I didn't mention it, but the reason we throw the axe at the beginning of castle is so that we skip a tutorial. There's a throwing weapon tutorial that happens when you pick up like I think it's 6 weapons. I might be wrong about that. It might be 5, but I feel like it's 6. But yeah, basically, once you hit a certain number of weapons held, it will give you a tutorial on how to throw a weapon. And so by throwing the axe early, we skip that, saving like 2 seconds. But yeah. Sneak Strike, unequip the Claymore so that EOD is auto-equipped. I blow up the bomb before switching to mag, which, I guess saves a menu. Make sure not to blow yourself up though. Magnesis the bow, and then run over. Make sure you have full stamina when you start the climb up this wall, because sometimes it just messes up. Like you'll climb onto something weird, or you won't get a nice 2 climb. Like Link won't go as far on one of the climbs, just because of like the geometry of this, like the bricks makes it weird. So it's better to just have full stamina, so that if you have to do a 3rd climb, you won't run out of stamina when you get to the top. Let's see. Okay. So here, I like this side instead of this side of the bridge, because I like the Q for the wind bomb better. But basically, I run up to it and climb up it just by running, like, and pressing towards the. You see how Link climbs up it? I don't jump. I just hold like forward, and Link will auto climb it, and that sets Link's position consistently on the like very right side of this. I believe it's a crenellation. Is the term for it, I think. And then the Q I use is top reticle lined up with this bridge part. So it's basically slightly left of parallel with the bridge. And then it's a normal wind bomb. You might want to actually delay the square placement to get more height, because it's better to, get too much height here than not enough, and you'll have to run up the roof, which is kind of slow. And there's a wind bomb that takes you like through here without having to open glider, and I've decided that that's just not worth going for. So I always will just glide over this and drop down. You basically don't lose any time over that perfect wind bomb. Here I use demon setup. There's tutorials on that. And I like demon setup. It's very consistent for me. And I like the cues for it as well. Like, they're more clear. I also use gyro. I feel like the other, was it SVA's setup? If you're using gyro, I don't know, I feel like I would mess it up a lot. So I switched to demon setup and haven't had problems since. Okay, so here we are on Blights. Water Blight phase 1. Basically, it's don't move into this inner circle. Right, you can see there. If you move into that, Water Blight will do the wrong attack and waste a bunch of time. It's a big AoE, like stab the spear into the ground. So just make sure you don't move into that circle before the Water Blight starts the lance attack. And so here, good RNG is getting an immediate spear thrust from Water Blight. It gives you enough time to hit 2 hits here before that happens, and then you just walk over. If that doesn't happen immediately, you can get a 3rd hit to Water Blight's face. But yeah, basically now you want to walk over, position yourself in the middle of Water Blight's body right here and arm. And then you will want to kind of walk towards the arm a little bit, start the spin, and when you so that you can get basically double hits on the body and then a single hit on the arm. So you walk a bit this way and then you move slightly back. You want to move like back to where you were in the middle of the two, and then you should get triple hits. I actually kind of messed it up there. I still got triple hits for the most part, but it wasn't quite as fast as it could have been. Okay, for phase 2, this is the triple menu I was talking about. I messed it up because I'm not very good at that menuing right there. But menu to the Claymore, and then now it's 2 headshots here, and then 3 spin hits into a slam, and then you need to optimally get an extra headshot there. Okay, so you do 3 spin hits, slam, and this one was actually super super close to me missing. The trick with this extra headshot is to know where Water Blight's head is going to be, which you can most of the time tell based on like Water Blight's body, how Water Blight will get up. This, I actually was not expecting Water Blight's head to be like right above me. I was expecting it to be like right around here because of how the body is positioned. But I mean, either way, like you definitely want to start drawing the bow as soon as you can, and you can actually pre-aim the camera there. I didn't. Right, so while you're doing these spins, you could pre-aim the camera up. I don't, but yeah, I still get the headshot. Yeah, basically you start drawing the bow super early so that you can get the shot off quick. If you don't get the headshot, if you get a body shot, it's actually fine. That's just one extra hit you have to do with the Claymore, which durability wise doesn't really matter. If you miss completely, then things could get bad because now you have to use 2 durability on the Claymore. Or the backup, you could just like throw the boomerang before doing 2 headshots, and then I believe you only have to do 1 hit with the Claymore then. It like saves a durability there. But yeah, basically you want the headshot right there, and then it's just 2 more headshots to end the phase. Okay, Fire Blight phase 1, walk up, immediate spins, or like, I guess it's not quite immediate, but like, you want to pretty quickly start spinning. Now, good RNG is technically Fireblight starts an attack while you're getting the spin hits, because if you don't get an attack, Fireblight will get knocked back by the spins, which will push Fireblight pretty far away from you after you do the slam. If you get like Fireblight to do an attack, it won't get pushed back by the spin hits, which means it will be like right next to you for the second set of spins. And that makes it really easy to get this fast like cycle kind of for Fireblight phase 1. It's not really a cycle, but it's fast Fireblight phase 1 basically, which you'll see in a bit. But yeah, basically you do the 3 and then a slam. And what I like to do here is you switch, you position yourself in the middle of the body and the arm, the little arm, and then you can get 4 hits right here. 1 hit, 1 on the arm, and then 2 more on the body, and then slam. And that ends the phase immediately. Otherwise, you would want to do, 3 hits with the spins and then slam. It knocks Fireblight down, and then you do like 1 more hit with the Claymore, or the Royal Guard's Claymore. And that ends the phase. But yeah, here we are on Fireblight phase 2. This one, switch to Boomerang, drop a bomb in the middle. Now you position yourself like right in front of, it's kind of in between where Fireblight's like moves to and the center of the room. It's not super precise where you have to stand, just somewhere in front of Fireblight's spawn point. And then I like to face link towards the center of the room. Then move the camera up. I detonate the bomb when it gets like behind Fireblight. So this should position Fireblight so that you are kind of attacking its shoulders. And I like to detonate the bomb, and because I face link towards the center of the room, I can just press ZL and that will bring the camera down. So you press L and then ZL. It brings the camera down. You're now facing Fireblight. And then you immediately go, the way I do it is 2 boomerang hits and then a throw. And the throw deals, I believe, 1.5 times damage. So it saves a hit on the Royal Claymore. But basically, when you do that, instead of 3 hits with the boomerang, it makes Fireblight get up earlier. So like the difficulty of getting 1 cycle Fireblight for 2 hits and then a throw versus 3 hits and then spins, or 3 hits and then just spins. I feel like it's pretty similar. I like throwing the boomerang though because I think it's 1 less hit with the Royal Claymore, and it actually makes the menuing better later because we actually throw this Claymore at the end of Thunderblight phase 1, and then you run over and pick up the boomerang. So when you throw the Claymore and pick up the boomerang, it auto-equips the boomerang. So technically, it's slightly faster. Okay, so see here, to get the good double hits for 1 cycle, you want to position Link kind of at the shoulder of the big arm, maybe like a little bit closer to the head than the shoulder, and you move slightly away from Fireblight. You start the spin so that you will get the first hit, not too early. If you're too close to Fireblight, you might hit the arm too soon. But yeah, basically you go back perpendicular to Fireblight, start the spin, and you move towards Fireblight to position yourself in the middle of like the arm. Well, it's not quite the middle, but like somewhere between the arm and the main body. And as Fireblight's getting up, that's when you start targeting. So here, Fireblight's getting up, I start targeting. If you target too early, it will mess up Link's angle while spinning, and you won't get the right hits. So you want to make sure you target like after Fire Blight's kind of gotten up a bit. And then, yeah, you position yourself in the middle so that you get nice hits on both the arm and the main body. If you position yourself too close to one or the other, it will not give you hits on both. And once you've reached a point where you're hitting both, like stay there and just spin. You should get one cycle. Okay, so here it's just, run up immediately, 2 hits, and then, your normal Thunder Blight stuff. Yeah, not much to talk about there. I guess make sure you're doing the jump cancels, but other than that, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, here, grab that. There's like it's like when the 4th pillar hits the ground is when I throw the boomerang. You can hear when the pillars start hitting the ground. I count the 4th one and then I throw it. And then, when you do this, make sure you're targeting Thunderblight here, because sometimes if you're not targeting, the 4th hit can actually miss the shield. That's killed a run of mine, I think. And then I learned to not, or to, make sure to target Thunderblight every time. And now for these double hits, it's just, position yourself correctly, get double hits. Oh, okay, I guess something I'll go over is right here. If you actually didn't have enough arrows, instead of shooting, getting a headshot right here, you can actually throw the boomerang, and then instead of this headshot, you run, pick up the boomerang, and throw it again, and it'll knock Thunderblight down. And then you just continue the rest like normal. It's a bit of a time loss though, because Thunderblight gets knocked away pretty far. Also, you have to pick up the boomerang again. Okay, I believe that let's see, let me check my notes. Oh, okay, actually no, here. There's one more thing I want to go over. Wait. It's the end of phase 1. So, okay, Thunderblight. You do this, right? And here you want to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 hits and then a slam, right? And then here, ideally, you actually want to get 1 hit and then a double hit on the second. So you get 1, 2, and I actually missed it, but you're supposed to get another hit there. So you get 3 hits and then a slam. If your durability is low, you can purposely not do the spins facing away from Thunderblight so that you will not be able to get that double hit. And, make sure the Claymore doesn't break early. If the Claymore breaks early and you don't have the boomerang like close to you and you threw it in Fireblight, it can get pretty tricky, because you basically, the backup for your Claymore breaking early is just throwing the boomerang a couple times. Usually once is enough, but if it breaks too early, then you might have to throw it twice. So yeah, you can opt to go for only 2 hits with the spin here and then slam, which is nice when you maybe like missed the headshot on Water Blight phase 1. No, wait, is that the Water Blight phase 2? if you miss that like extra headshot, your durability is gonna be pretty low on the claymore. So yeah, you go for that. Okay. Now Calamity. Okay, Calamity with the new route has almost no RNG in it. Once you've practiced it, got it down, this should be like really consistent and really fast. If you're getting, okay, the way the RNG works is basically if you get a clean phase 1, then there are two options that can happen for Calamity phase 2 at the start. You can either get instant laser or a melee attack and then a laser. Those are the only two options. It's not RNG if you get the wall. If you get the wall, that means you messed up phase 1 somewhere. Either you didn't go fast enough or you had like Calamity do an extra melee attack or something. Um, so if you do it the same every time, you should always be able to get either, or you should never get Calamity going to the wall at the beginning of phase 2. So the only RNG that, as far as we know, is RNG that can like mess you up is, it actually happened to me this round, um, which, you know, I kind of am not sure if it's RNG, but basically it's the way that Calamity moves. And like if Calamity decides to give you a laser after a certain number of headshots. Okay, so basically what we do here for 3 Ancient Arrow is Flurry Rush with the Boomerang. I face my camera towards the bomb arrows so that I can run in a straight line. Now here, you see this band, just like right here, this band on the ground. You want to make sure you get like to the middle of this. Or like, you know, you use your stamina efficiently so that you're like as far away as possible from Calamity. And I think the cue is like that you're in the middle of this band by the time Calamity is able to act, and then you will get laser. Because if you don't get a laser after that slam that Calamity does, there's a chance that, or no, if you don't get laser, then Calamity will walk over towards you, which will cut off your path to like the Claymore and make Calamity really awkward. So make sure you're using, like, you're running in a straight path to the bomb arrows and you're using your stamina really well. You should always get this laser right here. So here, yeah, see the laser. You pick up the bomb arrows, turn your camera as you're getting the text prompt. Now here, okay, wait, this is how I do it to grab the claymore. Once you've grabbed the bomb arrows, you want to get 5 headshots. Right, five shots with the Royal Guards bow while holding like full left, and that will put you right on top of the claymore. It's like full left and then I guess slightly down. Yeah, so you see, you grab it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and as I'm firing the 5th one, I can grab the claymore. And I got really good headshots there, um, which is kind of why I think it's RNG that Calamity didn't give me a laser. and the movement kind of like, yeah, I guess we'll see. Basically right here, you just keep on getting headshots until Calamity gives you a laser. And usually it only takes like a few more headshots before, or like bomb arrows before Calamity will start charging the laser at you, in which case like you can normally get like 2 headshots while Calamity is charging the laser. Um, that's not what happened here. As far as I can tell, it's RNG that I didn't get a laser. Um, and that really messed me up because basically at this point I was gambling. I was like, okay, I've run out of bomb arrows and I still haven't gotten a laser. I'm gonna shoot the ancient arrows, which ancient arrows, what I should have probably done is used my ancient arrows earlier. Like, I should have seen that I wasn't getting a laser, switched to ancient arrows, and used them because it interrupts Calamity, and by interrupting Calamity, you have a chance to then get laser uh, when Calamity can act again. So that's kind of how that works. Of course, at this point, it's kind of just RNG, I think. So little like prage, and luckily it didn't mess me up too much. I shot the 3 ancient arrows and got laser. But yeah, basically here you want to parry. I like to parry from as close as possible because then you don't have to run as far to get to Calamity to do the attacks. So yeah, it's optimal to parry from really close. I also think it works really well with like an audio cue for when like you hear the beep for Calamity. But yeah, I mean, really it's do whatever you're comfortable with, but optimally get as close as possible to Calamity for the laser parries. Okay, but yeah, here I just do your, what is it? Is it 6? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's 6 hits then slam with the Rogue Guards Claymore. Then you throw it. I like to throw it at his face. Like I throw it super. Yeah, see, I throw it at his face because there's like this invincibility frame that Calamity's body gets when doing the slam. So if you throw it like at his belly, uh, it sometimes just doesn't work. Like the claymore will break. You'll get that break animation. It just Calamity won't care and will slam and kill you. So I always throw it at his face. And now, oh, actually, yeah, I messed up, or I didn't mess up. The game messed me up. No, so basically, this didn't go quite as it usually does. And I was gonna discuss like an easy way to get the ancient arrow headshots fast, but it didn't happen in this run because I got bad RNG. But yeah, basically, if you need an extra hit, and I needed an extra hit because I believe I missed a bomb arrow headshot or 2 maybe, and then I also missed an ancient arrow headshot. If you need that extra hit, just throw the boomerang. Usually it's enough. I think with 3 ancient arrow Calamity, you can miss at most 3 bomb arrows uh, without messing up phase 1. And I think missing an ancient arrow is roughly equivalent to missing a bomb arrow headshot. I'm not exactly sure on the numbers on that, but yeah, like you can miss 3 bomb arrow headshots and still be fine. Here I missed quite a few headshots, so I had to get one more hit, and it was scary because I went to throw the boomerang and it didn't work the first time. But yeah, okay, basically to get the headshots with the ancient arrows in a normal Calamity, like a normal 3 ancient arrow Calamity, it's you do the throw with the Royal Guards Claymore, and then you kind of move to the left. Like, you back up, you switch to Ancient Arrows, and then you move to the left, and Calamity's head will always move to the left. So you can, like, immediately fire it and get the headshots. Okay, but actually, before I move on to Phase 2, I actually want to discuss or go over the headshots. Okay, so you grab this, and there are like easy headshots on Calamity that like, or the way I do it is I try to get as many shots in with the royal like the Royal Guard's bow before you get the laser. You know, get as many shots in as possible before you get the laser, because it actually you're kind of capped. Um, like there's a cap you can get where you shoot as many as you can before that laser, because you need that laser to continue the fight, the phase, because you need the Royal Guards Claymore hits. So if you're shooting as fast as possible, then you should be able to fire off all but one bomb arrow. I think you can get 9 in before the laser parry. So that's what I go for. Um, but yeah, there's some headshots that are like you should hit every single time. There are a couple that are kind of hard to hit if you're trying to go like really fast. I feel like it's kind of a guess whether I hit them or not, but there's only a couple of those. So here, you've got the laser. You should be able to hit 1, 2, 3, and that's because of Calamity's laser charge. You should be able to hit the first one, like the second one and the third one, because of the Calamity is stuck in the same spot because of the laser. So those ones should be guaranteed. And then the fourth one is pretty easy. I think fifth one and sixth one are where it gets hard. I don't know. It's kind of hard to show here because of like bad movement RNG for Calamity. Uh, but you know, headshots while Calamity is charging laser are easy to hit. So make sure you hit those. And yeah, like remember, you can miss up to 3 without messing up phase 1. Okay, but moving on to phase 2. So here, first thing I do is I move forward towards Calamity, and this is so that it forces Calamity to do the attack early if you don't get instant laser. If you get instant laser, you see here, I move forward. So if I didn't get instant laser, that means Calamity would start an attack immediately, right? And as soon as I see Calamity start that attack, that's when I run backwards, because you need to distance yourself to get the laser after an attack. So, you know, that's my kind of flow chart. I just move forward a bit. If I get instant laser here, Calamity's aim is actually really bad if you get instant laser, unless you move. If you move to the right, see how I move to the right a bit? It like forces Calamity to re-aim the the laser. Cause like there have been times where I will stand where I like right there. I will just stand there and Calamity will miss me. Completely whiff the laser. But if you move to the right, you can actually like get as close as possible, and Calamity will never miss. And I think it's because Calamity has to re-aim the laser since you moved your like horizontal positioning. Okay, right here, parry, crouch cancel. You could actually cancel that parry with a menu to the edge of duality, but that's not my muscle memory, so I just crouch cancel it. But I actually do the parry super close so that I can get a dash attack immediately right here. And if you do that close enough, you can actually get this double hit with the dash attack. I think it's something to do with the way Calamity bounces, is my theory. Because I don't think it works if you wait too long to get the dash attack. Which is why you have to be really close to be able to get that double hit in. So yeah, I move super close. Boom. You hear the double hits, and if you hear you get 2 hits, then you just immediately jump to the right, because if you get 3 hits in, it'll mess up this stun lock. Okay, and then stun lock. Actually, ideally right here, you... I didn't quite get it. But ideally, you actually want your edge of duality to break on this spin, because that means you got optimal, like an optimal number of hits on the edge of duality, and you get an extra hit in with the Royal Claymore. Instead of that throw, you would just do an extra hit with the Claymore. Okay. For the stun lock, what I do is I position myself in the middle of the spear and the main body, but you know, like most double hits, I move towards, or like I move out towards the spear, start the spin, and then I move in to the middle of the two to get the triple hits. And once you reach a position where you're getting like double hits on the main body, then you stop moving. Then you slam, boom, get the extra hit in between. Make sure you're at like 3/4 stamina each iteration, so that you have enough stamina to do the stun lock. Okay, so here we are in Dark Beast. Ideally, you wanted your bow to break so that you don't have to menu here, and that makes there's like a couple audio cues that I use. Shoutouts to Tapir, because he taught me the audio cues for it. Okay, so here you can kind of do Calamity or Dark Beast however you want. But yeah, I think it's around there is when you just start galloping. Okay, so for this audio cue, it's actually on a certain note is when I pull bow, or like, you know, pull the bow of light, and so I will press ZR to pull the bow and then release it immediately. And if I pulled bow on the right note, it will give me, or like it's a pretty consistent audio cue for when the first spot is going to appear. So let's see. Da-da-da. that da na na na. It's that na, like the after the high note, there's a second, like a note right after, and that's when you pull the bow. Yeah, so it's like after the high note, the second part, you pull bow, which will give you a pretty good pre-fire. Okay, and this second one, like the phase 2 pre-fire, is the hardest one because it depends on like your first, like how good your first pre-fire was. Okay, so there's that note, and on that note, that's when the spot is gonna appear, so you can hear it. It's like this long wait and then the note, and you want to fire the arrow so that it hits the shoulder on that note. You can see. Okay. So here, okay, for third phase, it actually resets the music. So when Zelda says that line, it actually, you hear it. Yeah, see, it like resets the music to a spot where it will always be the same. So it actually makes the third pre-fire really easy. Really consistent. Okay, so this pre-fire is, I think Tapir does it based on, he counts like the number of phrases, repetitions of this phrase, and I didn't like that because I had to count, and I was not great at counting them while trying to listen to the music and, I don't know, talking to Chad or something. I was like, man, this is not working. So I just found my other, or a different cue for it that works for me. So that goes da na 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 na, and then it'll do na na na. And on the like da na na, that last note, you just fire it like then. And you can fire this one pretty early. The hitbox is pretty lenient, so getting speechless on phase 3 is actually the easiest. Okay, so I'll play it again. Yeah, it's kind of like, oh wait, shoot. Yeah, it's kind of like in the middle of the note though. But I think it's pretty easy, so just play around with it a bit, and you should be able to, find the visual or the audio cue. And then this last shot is, I don't know. I think you can kind of pre-fire it, but I never do. I don't think it's worth it. Just take your time on that shot. Make sure you're not too close. Don't mess that up, because if you mess that up, it's it looks super, or it's super disappointing. Definitely, I've lost a PB to it, and since then I don't mess around on that last shot with like going too early. But yeah, that concludes the analysis. I guess the key, I don't know, a couple key points that I'll bring up again because they're important is like for a lot of setups, make sure to take your time and get it first try, because if you get it first try, it's likely faster than rushing it and potentially missing it because you went too fast. Um, there's a lot of places where you can pre-turn your camera to make setups faster. And let's see, is there anything else I want to say? Probably not. Thanks for watching, I guess, and I hope it helped. Yeah, I'll probably make more of these videos in the future, or I plan to make like actual tutorials for things, but I don't know. Definitely hope it helped. I don't know what else to say. So yeah, bye.